we certainly understand what it is like to, you know, get up in the morning before anyone else is awake. It's dark outside. You got to get to work. You got to clock in at the right time, or you're going to get written up. Battle through the struggles of the world, and then you get off and you come home, and you got more work to do at home. There's a job there before you, Dad, that is even more important than your 9 to 5.
Our family verse is Isaiah 26:3. You keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on you because he trusts in you. And so I guess that's the first bit of advice I would give. If you want that perfect peace, and we all do, then we just keep our eyes on Jesus.
Hey, everybody out there. Welcome to Fatherhood Friday, brought to you by the Preacher Dad Podcast. My name is Jared, and we got a good one for you today. I hope that you're set and ready for Season 2, because we want to encourage you. I hope that if you're feeling a little down or under the weather, I don't know, maybe you're just discouraged about things in life, listen in. We're going to encourage you today, and I hope that you will be blessed and uplifted. I want to remind you that this episode is brought to you by Cornerstone Fellowship, the tiny country church in the middle of nowhere, Georgia. And we would love to love you if you got time to come by. And you know, a church alive is worth the drive. If you got to come a little bit of a distance, that's okay. We don't mind. We're not going to turn you away. Come on down and come to Cornerstone Fellowship, just a little bit north of Toomsboro, and we'll bless you and love you and point you to Jesus. All right, folks, let's start Fatherhood Friday.
Well, hello, all of you 7 or 8 listeners out there, maybe 10 or 12 today. I don't know, but welcome to Season 2 of Fatherhood Friday, brought to you by the Preacher Dad Podcast. My name is Jared. I am the Preacher Dad, and I'm here with my co-hosts, Matt Stewart and Nate Eisner, and our beloved brother, Tony. He got offended at us because we were too weak and wishy-washy. We didn't like to eat our steak medium rare.
Oh, no, speak for yourself.
Okay, fine then. Be gone then, Nate. No, I am just kidding. Tony loves us and we love him. He's going to be part of Season 2. He just couldn't make it tonight. Hey, you know, we're busy dads. We are not full-time podcasters, not at this time. So you can help with that if you just click like and subscribe. You can contribute. But we are glad to be back with you again for Season 2 and to share more with you about life as a father. Both Nate and Matt and myself are all dads. I have 8 children, and Matt has 6, and Nate has 2. And Mr. Tony has 3, right? Or is it 4?
He's got 3.
Yeah. But we're all just kind of in different places in our fatherhood journey. And we figured, you know, maybe we could help somebody out there also on their fatherhood journey. We certainly understand what it is like to, you know, get up in the morning before anyone else is awake. It's dark outside. You got to get to work. You got to clock in at the right time, or you're going to get written up. We understand what it is. In fact, at one point, we all worked together, all 4 of us. And, you know, we know what it's like to have to get there on time and focus on work and battle through the struggles of the world. And then you get off and you come home and you got more work to do at home. And there's a job there before you, Dad, that is even more important than your 9 to 5. Mm-hmm. And that's it's really challenging for dads to do that. And if, you know, maybe things at home aren't always really peaceful, if you're struggling to find unity with your spouse, or maybe you're a divorced dad and maybe you're not living with your spouse anymore. There's a number of reasons why your home life might not be very pleasant, and that just makes it all the harder to keep on battling. But we want to tell you tonight that you need to stay in there, Dad. You need to not give up. You need to not give up on your family. You need to not give up on your marriage. You need to not give up on your faith, on your God. And you need to keep on pressing on. There's a scripture verse, I believe it's in Galatians, that says, grow not weary in well doing, for in due season you will reap if you faint not. So it means that the reaping doesn't come if you faint. If you give up and just give up on the garden, well, you're not going to get a crop out of that. But if you hang in there, if you keep on pressing on, grow not weary in well doing, there is a harvest that's coming, and you will see the fruit. You just have to not faint. And so, dads, out there's a lot of reasons to give up, but we want to tell you that it's worth it to keep going. And we've all been there where, man, we just need a shot in the arm, and we hope that maybe we can be that shot in the arm for you. I'm going to throw this over to Matt Stewart. Matt, what's something that you do to try to stay encouraged or stay in the battle?
Well, Scripture would be the main thing. I actually wanted, one of the first things I wanted to say was, I was thinking about my struggles at times. Obviously, financial decisions is always up there. Raising my children, dealing with disobedient children, one's got an issue. What am I going to do? Like, it's always something, right? And we always are struggling. But our family verse, and I don't think I've said it in any podcast we've done yet, but our family verse is Isaiah 26:3. You keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on you because he trusts in you. And so I guess that's the first bit of advice I would give. If you want that perfect peace, and we all do, then we just keep our eyes on Jesus. And it's hard, but that's what we have to do as fathers, as husbands. If we want to lead our family, if we want to stay in the fight, we've got to have our eyes on Jesus. And that's that was my first little bit of encouragement.
Just because it's hard doesn't mean we shouldn't do it.
Right. You want me to continue? You want me to go on with my? I had another point I wanted to share at some point.
Yeah, go ahead.
Throw it out there. I've been listening to and reading a book called Family Driven Faith.
I've read that book
by Voddie Baucham.
Yeah,
I don't know him. I didn't know him personally, but I do miss him now that he's gone. It was sad to see him pass away a few months ago. He's played a instrumental role in our lives. But anyway, so been reading through that again, and really the family is the main system for delivering God's truth. Right? It's more important than it's really more important than church, than youth group, than godly grandparents. It really starts with the family. And specifically, it starts with the dads, right? We have to be walking the walk. If the Bible is not important to us, it might not be important to our children. If we aren't singing the truth, if we're not praying the word, if we're not doing family devotions, then if it's not important to us, then it's not going to be important to our kids. And so I just want to encourage fathers who are dealing with all sorts of things in life. If you have to just do one thing, just disciple your kids. Teach them the Word of God. Teach them to love the Word. Teach them to just follow Jesus. And one way to do that is through family devotions. And I wanted to read one little paragraph from Voddie's book. It says, nothing will spur a father toward godly spiritual discipline in his own walk with Christ more than leading his family in worship. In order to teach his wife and children, he will have to study the scriptures on his own. A godly woman will be encouraged and inspired as she sees her husband take responsibility and lead in family worship. This practice sets a tone of harmony and love in the household and is the source of strength when they go through affliction together. As they pray for each other, their mutual love is strengthened. So yeah, I just want to encourage any fathers out there, if you haven't done it, family worship is a glorious time to worship God together. It doesn't have to be anything special. Like, it doesn't have to be a certain amount of time. You don't have to read through two chapters in the Bible. It could be one verse. It could last 5 minutes. It could be whatever. Just get in the Word and teach the kids. That's what we're called to do as fathers.
And you don't have to be a Bible scholar,
no, of
or
course not.
really good at understanding the Bible just to lead your family in searching out the truth.
Yeah.
You just gotta. I heard Vodi Bakum actually, I think, said one time, you just got to stay one day ahead. You just got to be one day ahead of everybody else. You learn the lesson, then you teach it to them. Whatever.
But in most cases with me, it's about 10 minutes ahead, 15 minutes ahead.
Yeah. Hey, look.
We go through right now, we're going through John. And so I'm talking about Lazarus being raised from the dead tonight. So I read over that and then sat down with them. So
yeah, 10 minutes ahead. Exactly. I mean, that's better than not doing it.
Yeah, I know.
We're better than not doing it. I mean, for me, I have a hard time pulling out the Bibles and having family worship with the scriptures. I know we need to, and I know it's important, but I try to make sure that we at least, at the minimum, pray together as a family at the end of every day, at the minimum. And so that's not as good as I want it to be, but it's better than doing nothing.
Yeah.
So, Dad, get out there and do something.
Mm-hmm.
Get your family in the scriptures. Get your family connected to God. Lead them in worship. Nate, what do you do to stay encouraged?
Yeah. So very similar to Matt, actually, is what I wrote down. And you referenced some stuff from John. I've got some stuff as well. I definitely, in preparing for this episode, probably took it more the political climate and just the negative news that's going on in our world. That's kind of more the frame I came from. But that's probably just me misunderstanding what we were supposed to be talking about. But
no, it's fine.
I guess it does.
It's just it just adds more facets to the discussion.
It does. So going back to John, pretty much all of John's chapter 15 and 16 is Jesus encouraging his disciples to take refuge in himself. He lays out the exact game plan that we've seen replay over the last 2,000 years and will continue until he returns. But he really kind of sums it all up in the world will hate you because it first hated me. And those who kill you will think that they're doing it out of service to God, though they never knew Jesus. He says Jesus or the Father. This is where Jesus promises that in this life you'll have sorrows and persecution, but he ends the message by saying, take heart because I've overcome the world. And so for me, Matt, I agree with you 100%. I come right back to that, is just keeping your eyes fixed on Christ. And I would imagine our audience is predominantly conservative Christian, but if you're not, you will find that we will constantly come back to this idea and this core of fixing our hearts and our eyes on Christ, because he is the center of our lives. He is the center of everything. And what's that? It's a great hymn, on Christ the solid rock I stand, all other ground is sinking sand. And as far as we see the negative news cycles, and the news just seems to be bipolar, although these days it's not so much happy, it's just all sad. In Virginia, we've got this psychotic communist governor that just got installed, and they're already pushing magazine restrictions as of today, the recording of this episode. That's making its way through the legislation, and it's just there are so many reasons to get caught up in this downward spiral, and it'll get you. I mean, it'll get you. I'm remembering, when Biden got into office. Let's put it that way. I had a newborn.
Hey, adventurers, ready to level up your outdoor game? At Goose Feet Gear, they're committed to keeping you crazy warm without weighing you down. I've known the founder and owner, Ben Smith, for nearly 2 decades, and his commitment to quality is outstanding. Their custom down socks, jackets, and pants are made in the USA and packed with premium 850 plus fill power goose down. Perfect for backpacking, camping, or hunting. Tailored to you with 10% off if you use the promo code FATHERHOOD. Check out goosefeetgear.com and feel the ultralight difference. That's goosefeetgear.com.
My oldest daughter was, so she was 6 months old at the time, I think. Yeah, probably should have been 6 months old when he was inaugurated. And man, I probably got gray hairs over those 4 years. And a huge lesson that I learned was exactly what God tells us all throughout the Bible: do not fear, do not worry. Because worry is not going to change it. Worry is not going to solve it. Worry is only going to put a negative connotation to your outlook on life. It is only going to affect what you do negatively. And again, coming back to this idea of keeping our eyes fixed on Christ, like you said, Matt, you just take everything to the Lord in prayer. You take your worry and you lay it at the feet of Christ. It's going to happen. The God telling us not to worry is not to beat us up, but to remind us that when our flesh is faced with these feelings that we're going to face when we come into the presence of evil, when we come into chaos, our flesh is going to worry, it's going to fear, but it's our response to that that is the game changer, and that is what will sustain us, is laying our fear, laying our worry down at the foot of Jesus and asking him to get us through and to help us. And I'm telling you, the times that I fail to do that, the times, like you said, Matt, reading the scriptures daily, spending time in the scriptures as a family, when I'm not doing that, my house is chaos. I mean, the times that I'm the most bitter with my wife and children is the seasons where I've not been digging into the Word, the seasons where I've not been praying. And you would think, almost 27 years later, I would have figured that out by now, that this is a cycle. But it takes videos like this, whether you're watching it. For me, having the conversation with the two of y'all is immensely encouraging. And that's one other thing, man. Get into, like you said, the family is a foundation, but that's not to shy away from the importance of having a good church community. That's something we really haven't touched on in this video. Having brothers, having a brotherhood around you, and this is obviously geared towards dads, but for the women as well, having godly women, if there's any of y'all out there watching, but having that godly community around you to hold you accountable in the prayer, in the reading of the scriptures, but also just to have the camaraderie and the friendship and the lightheartedness. I mean, every time before we start recording these podcasts and afterwards, we gotta get ourselves focused, because guys do what guys do. We start talking and we start having a good time. And so you can do that in a secular sense, or you can do that in the context of the local church. And I can say from experience, in the context of the local church has been life-giving. The secular context, I have very few interactions that I don't either regret or count as nice, but not really meaningful. And so that's my experience. But yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I was going to chime in real quick and say, when it comes to political stuff and all the negativity in the world, it is okay to talk about it.
And sure.
Don't just, we don't want to.
You don't sweep it under the rug. Don't bury your hand in the sand.
Sure.
Sand. Yeah.
And talking with brothers.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. But yeah.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying, I know, but yeah, it's easy just to scroll Facebook or X or whatever, just see all the negative junk. But we talk about it with friends, like you're saying, Nate, with some brothers, and figure out what Scripture has to say about it, and then encourage each other, and and
Sometimes
and
commiserate together.
yeah,
Like you just, man, I'm just so frustrated. It's so annoying, and I can't. And it's just good to have somebody that's like, "Yep, I get it, bro."
yeah,
Somebody that gets it.
and yeah, and I think too. I actually haven't done it yet with my kids, but I need to, since you reminded me, Nate, of our new governor. I do need to pray with my kids for our state,
Yeah.
and that God would change her heart, or
That's a big thing too, is remember, it's not just praying for ourselves, but remembering to pray for our elected officials, even if they are completely opposed to Christ.
yeah,
Whether or not, whatever they want to say, they're opposed to Christ. They can claim the name of Jesus all day. They can claim to be Christians, because that'll get you political points, but your actions prove where you stand.
yeah,
But choosing to pray for them, pray for your enemies.
yeah.
There's something I do that it helps me to be encouraged, because I consume a lot of news and I try to stay informed. I think all dads should, about what's happening in our society and the current events, to be informed about that. But it can be really disheartening and really discouraging, because the news tends to focus on what is negative. That sells more papers, it gets more clicks. It's a lot easier to sell the negative things. And so I like to listen to a podcast called Wall Builders, the Wall Builders Show, produced by the Wall Builders Ministry. It was founded by David Barton. They have an episode every Friday. After you get done listening to Fatherhood Friday, you should go listen to Good News Friday from Wall Builders, because on Good News Friday, they basically just talk only about the good things. They focus on the encouraging things that are happening, the legal victories, the great bills that got passed, just the uplifting stories from a biblical Christian conservative point of view. It's so uplifting. They sometimes talk about, it is good. They sometimes even talk about evidence of reformation, and how they believe that we are currently in a reformation, another great awakening. But the thing is that even in the first two great awakenings in the United States, the people that experienced them didn't know that was happening. And it took like a 70-year period. It happened over an entire generation of the Great Awakening. It wasn't like just a couple weeks or months of revival. It was a seismic shift in the culture that took place over a generation or two. And so, that I think that really could be going on. We just can't tell, because we're only ever seeing the bad news. But sometimes turn the news off. Turn the news off and go for a walk and just enjoy nature.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I've done more with my boys in the last couple of years, is we've gone camping and been able to see some cool things and have some neat experiences out in God's creation. And that's encouraging too. It's uplifting to spend time in nature. So I encourage you to do that more than you play video games or scroll on TikTok or something like that.
But speaking of video games, Jared, it made me think too, but we do need to be having fun with our kids and our family. And I will occasionally get on the Switch with them and play for 30 minutes or whatever. So we don't need to be so wrapped up in everything as dads, and a lot of good stuff too. I mean, we could be preparing for something for church. We could be, preparing for a podcast, whatever it may be. But I would like to encourage the fathers to just go sit down and play with your kids, wrestle with your boys, whatever you want to do with the girls, do that too.
Play Switch with them. Yeah, I'm not saying
wrestle-
we shouldn't ever play video games,
I
but there
know.
are some dads that, they check out from their families to play video games
Yeah.
because
Oh, I
that's
know.
how they decompress.
Yeah.
That's just it's a recipe for disaster if it's not kept in careful moderation.
Of course.
That was my thought.
Yep.
Anyway, final thoughts, guys, before we end tonight.
I would say, Matt, on that same note, or Jared, whichever one of y'all was just talking, y'all were both talking, but as far as like playing with your kids, do something different with your wife. Mix it up a little bit. Something we're as of the recording of this episode here in Virginia, we've been snowed in with this lovely 24-inch snowstorm that was about 6 inches with a layer of ice on top. But
2 inches.
2 inches, is that what it was? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
2 inches with however much ice, so we've been trapped inside all the last couple, 48 hours. But my wife and I have been playing checkers a lot, and I will say she puts up a mean fight in a game of checkers. But that's something that her and I have never done, is play board games. Really, we just have never done it. But it's just something different, and so like that's a new level of encouragement. That's a different kind of encouragement. I don't know, when you do something different. It's obviously, as dads, we need to be well-rounded, and our kids are very, very important. But don't forsake the relationship with your wife. That comes first. I think that is a biblical order: is God, wife, children. So, let's not forget our wives.
Yeah. On that same point, just tell y'all, we made a rule 2 weeks ago. Yesterday was 2 weeks ago. For our 3 girls, they're the oldest. We told them they no longer have a bedtime. It was new. Yep. It was my wife's idea. And we're like, that they haven't had to wake up at a certain time. Or like, you can stay up as late as you want, because we were just tired of all the arguing. Well, she stayed up 5 minutes late. I should stay up 5 minutes late. Y'all know how that goes. Jared.
Oh man, I know it.
So
Absolutely.
we're like, you know what? You stay up as late as you want, but you have to wake up at 7:15. And so, and also with that, at 8:30, this is new too, but we're like, at 8:30, it's mommy and daddy time, and you're not going to interrupt us unless it's an emergency. And we gave them some examples of what an emergency was. And so the first 2 weeks have gone very well.
Oh.
The kids have not argued at night, and they've gone to bed at the same time, basically the same time as they were when they did have bedtimes, and they've not bothered us after 8:30. So it's really smart.
I got to think about that.
This is again just 2 week trial period. But even my oldest last night, she said, "Daddy, it's been 2 weeks since we did this. Are we going to keep doing it?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I think so. Y'all done a pretty good job." And so, yeah, they're excited about it. Now the little ones don't know about it, but
yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, listen, guys, thank you very much. I hope that somebody out there has been encouraged. Nate, I got an idea for you. Maybe take the checkerboard to the bedroom, and for every jump, a new piece of clothing
PG.
comes off.
PG, Jared.
Oh man, that's a good idea.
Uh-oh.
Well, anyway, I hope that everybody's been encouraged listening tonight, and I hope that if you have a good way that you stay in the fight, that you don't give up, then put that in the comments below.
Yes.
Or maybe
Let's
send us
engage
an
with those
email.
comments.
Yes, we would love to hear from you. You can email us dads@preacherdad.com, or if you make a comment down below, that helps the algorithm to pick us up and spread this message to others that maybe need to hear it. So we would love for you to do that. But thank you very much for listening, and we hope to we look forward to many more episodes in the future of Fatherhood Friday here on season 2. So thank you so much for listening in, and we will catch you next time. God bless you. Bye-bye.